Hello, Nasdaq followers, and welcome to another episode of Nasdaq Spotlight. Joining me here on set today is CEO of Akerna, Jessica Billingsley, a cannabis technology company that we're speaking with today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's kick it off by telling us a little bit more about Akerna and who it serves and what it does.
So Akerna creates the world's most transparent and accountable consumer packaged goods supply chain at global scale. We currently serve the cannabis and hemp CBD industries. We operate in all 30 U.S. legal cannabis states as well as 14 other countries outside the U.S., serving businesses and governments. And to date, we have tracked more than $16 billion of legal cannabis sales.
And in the time that Akerna has been part of this industry, how have you seen it evolve throughout the years?
So we're really continuing to see a shift toward more enterprise scale businesses and toward greater product sophistication. So if we consider that most people are moving toward not wanting to consume cannabis through smoking it, for instance. They're interested in more sophisticated delivery methods, from edibles to vaping technologies to transdermal patches. There's a real sophistication in the type of products available and also in the scale of both the businesses serving it as well as the boutique nature of the products. And for us as a technology company, we've really been focused on innovating toward that enterprise scale and as we begin to evolve into a global economy as well.
And you talk about the sophistication of these products. So how is Akerna kind of reimagining these products and kind of serving those audiences of the now and the future?
Well, at the end of the day, the core of our technology that we invented, the concept of seed to sale, is around providing transparency into what is going into the product that you consume. And it's applicable to anything you put on or in your body. So if I had a cannabis gummy and I were holding it here, I would be able to tell you the farm on which the plants were grown, which plants were harvested, when they were harvested, when those plants were extracted into the cannabis essential oil that was then infused into the gummy product, when that product was distributed, and finally when it was sold, at what retail location, on what day, at what time, and to whom. And not for the batch or the lot, but for that specific gummy. And if you think about the broader applications of that in terms of reimagining and how that's applicable to broader ag tech or agricultural technology, if you will, remember at the beginning of the year when we couldn't eat romaine lettuce?
Oh yeah.
And it took the FDA weeks to narrow down the source of that contamination, and then not with 100% accuracy. If that were cannabis, with our technology, we would know.
Wow, so you are aiming to work with enterprises so that you can track all of these products from start to finish.
Absolutely.
That's incredible. And the fact that will consumers have access to that information as well then?
Yes, and in fact we recently announced a partnership with a company called Solo Sciences that provides a consumer tagging mark to products, and consumers can interact with the tag with an app on their phone and pull up all of the traceability information and have confidence that the product they're getting is not counterfeit, and then be able to see the entire traceability information for the product.
Wow, so that means using technology from working with companies, aka enterprise, all the way to consumer. So what most excites you about the future?
So as we look at the future, we expect to hold a commanding position in the cannabis technology market. And we expect to do that through a few different methods. But what's most exciting in just the next couple years is the ending of the federal-state conflict. We really see that timeline coming to an end, and we see the United States being able to participate in the larger emerging global cannabis economy. And I'm very excited to see us enter that sphere and interact with many of the other countries and businesses with whom we're already working.
And in that space, looking to perhaps a little further or maybe 5 to 7 years down the road, where do you see Akerna?
So I mentioned we expect to hold a commanding position in the cannabis technology market. We expect to do that by continuing to provide the absolute best solutions for enterprise businesses, to really provide the framework for the global economy to operate, and that means being able to be GMP compliant, for instance, which stands for Good Manufacturing Practices. We recently announced the first GMP compliant cannabis export solution, and also to then adapt our technology toward the broader agricultural market. So we're beginning to do that with hemp CBD, which is the convergence of what we've invented to serve cannabis toward a broader agricultural application. So in 5 to 7 years, expect us to be owning the cannabis technology space, but also to begin to be working with other agricultural supply chains as well.
Well, we certainly look forward to seeing where Akerna stands in that very short timeline. And thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Nasdaq Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Nasdaq followers, that was Jessica Billingsley, who's CEO of Akerna, a company to keep an eye on. And definitely please stay tuned for more coverage coming to you right here from the Nasdaq Market site.